you doing, class? My name's David Wolf. I was supposed to do a speech on the differences between the fields of finance and accounting, but I didn't think anybody would really enjoy that, so I shifted to making bread. It's actually fairly easy to make bread at home. You just have to have a few basic ingredients. What we have going on is 2 cups of water, 2/3 of a cup of sugar, 1.5 tablespoons of yeast, and I'll get into yeast a little bit in a moment, 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Very important, you leave the salt out, it tastes like paste. It's not a good thing. Also, 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. With the yeast, it usually comes in packets, a couple different types. You have the active dry and you have the rapid rise. Basically the same thing, rapid rise just rises faster. I like to make a lot of bread. I get it in a jar usually. Alright, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the warm water. It's got to be about 110 degrees. You get it too hot, you're going to kill the yeast. Don't want to do that. You want to make the yeast happy, so what we're going to do is we're going to put all that sugar in that water and dissolve it. Okay, the happier the yeast, the more the bread rises. It's a wonderful thing. The reason that yeast makes the bread rise, well, that's a whole nother topic. But basically the yeast breaks the sugar down into carbon dioxide and a little bit of alcohol. Now what we're going to do with this, we're going to have to let that proof. So I'll be back in about 10 minutes when it's done. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes, and as you can see, it's gotten real nice and foamy. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and throw that into our mixing bowl. Works best if you have a stand mixer. If not, you can do it by hand. It just takes a little bit more elbow grease. Into that, we're going to throw in that salt. Remember, you got to have the salt. I understand a lot of people are trying to cut salt out of their diet, but without the salt, bread is just not good. And we're going to go ahead and mix in that oil. Okay. On my stand mixer, I happen to have a nice mixing shield to help get the flour in and not all over the place, so it makes life a little bit nicer. I'm going to go ahead and mix that flour in about a cup at a time until it's all mixed in nice and you get a ball of dough in there. Alright. And get those in. And once I get this all in, I'll come back. Alright, welcome back. I did neglect to tell you it's about 6 cups of flour. We want to take that shield off, have it all mixed in. Now the bread dough is a bit sticky at this point. It might take a little bit more flour. Of course, we want to make sure our hands are good and clean before we get into this. Turn it out onto a floured surface just so that it doesn't stick all over the place. And it also gives a little extra flour to work it in. Okay. And you're going to knead it for 5 minutes or so just to get it to work. And once you have that done, you're going to put it into a well-oiled bowl to let it rise. Once it's in the bowl, you want to roll it over so that its oil is on all the sides, and then you're going to cover it with a towel and let it rise for about an hour until it's doubled approximately in size. I'll usually set it in the oven on a cooler day and let it rise there. So I'll see you in about an hour. Alright, Alright, so it's been a little less than an hour. I made the yeast really happy. Okay. Pull it out, and it's pretty much doubled. What you gotta do now, you gotta punch it down. You're gonna go ahead and try to divide it in half. Sharp knife helps. Because this is actually 2 loaves worth. They tell you to go ahead and put it into a well-greased 9x13, and then you're going to let it rise for about half an hour or until it comes up about 1 inch over the top. If you don't have a regular bread pan, another way you can do it basically is an artisan loaf. Take the dough, flop it out onto a cookie sheet. I have a silicone cooking pad, and let that rise. Alright, so now our bread has risen significantly. I didn't let it rise quite as much as what I'd said, bringing it up over the top, but you can see it's doubled. You want to make sure that you let it rise so that you get the nice airy insides to the bread. Now you're going to set your oven for 350. Let that preheat. Once that's done, put the bread back in the oven for 30 minutes approximately. Once it's golden brown and sounds hollow, it's done. You bring it out and we'll go from there. Alright, so now it's time to pay off. Nothing quite like the smell of fresh bread straight out of the oven. I'll tell you what, your family will thank you for it. Too bad it's not smell-o-vision. Alright, recap. Bread, basic recipe is flour, water, sugar, or honey you can use, 1 for 1. Salt, gotta have the salt. And yeast. Gotta have the yeast to make it rise. Hope that you enjoyed the speech. Have a great day.